All right, welcome everybody. I'm Ed Cruz. This is the last lesson. This is episode 74. A little bit more of a continuation to constructing the Death Star part 3. I think it's just it's easier for me to do it this way because when I edit the thumbnail, I just have to hit 1, 2, or 3. I had to add a little copy. My voice was a little off this morning. Okay, so. In the previous videos, we talked about how to construct a triangle, right? Triangle based off 3 sides. You have the base and then the 2 arms forming it. We have the functionality of what the body has to do, the functionality of what the hands have to do. And then in order to maintain, right, this overall tension of the triangle. So at all times, the triangle your job is basically to manipulate the triangle and maintain it in its shape and form. How do we do it? The 2 things, all the stuff that we're talking about, the body and legs doing its job, the arms doing its job. So I think I didn't go into more detail as far as how the hands, with the evenness of it, we have this 2 hands going to the target and releasing every single time, right? Releasing every single time in order to maintain that. So one thing to look at, okay, and I think this is how do we make sure I think I didn't go into this in the part 2. The hand, we talked a little bit about the functionality and how to break it down. The hand has to get to that level. Basically the punch, right? You learn to punch, the punch has to be able to release. If you can release on the punch, then you work on Sim Tao. Sim Tao is your grade score in order to do all the hand techniques, right? If you can do all the hand techniques and release on the hand techniques, that's a thumbs up. Okay, then we go into the 20 single man techniques. You should be able from one to another transfer it over. At the end of the day, there's a little bit of like rewiring in your head that, oh wait, if you can do it in the punch, that means you can do it in the form, and that means you should be able to do it also in 20 single man technique. At the end of the day, it's no different, right? At the end of the day, if you're complaining, oh, Master Yoda, lifting rocks is one thing, but you want me to move this goddamn X-Wing. It's totally impossible. No different. It's not different. It's exactly the same thing. So you just have to look at it that way. Maybe if I look at an egg, right? I'm looking at it or something at this direction. Whether I look at it from upside down or from below, from the side, or from a distance or close by, it's still a damn egg. It's still the same egg, right? From a different perspective, but there's no freaking difference to it. So if you can get it, so that's why you focus on the punch. If you can get in the punch, then it's just a matter of time before you can understand in your mind, right? It's exactly the same thing in the form, exactly the same thing in all the other hand techniques. If you can do that, then you can actually release the technique of both hands to the target. When you're doing that, that's so vital to do. Now, hopefully that makes sense. So how do we practice that? Basically, like I said, punch, Sim Tao, 20 single man techniques, and you can check those off in each individually. If you're saying, I can't really do it in all 20 single man techniques, okay, go back, 1 step back, Sim Tao. Okay, can I do it in all Sim Tao? Maybe 70% of it. 70%, what the frick? Can I do it in my punch? Can I release in my punch? Maybe about 90%. Oh, okay. Gotta practice more. So this doesn't mean that you have to be like, okay, 1 year only, I practice punch till I get it. No, you gotta imagine the loop. You gotta keep going from one to another. Concentrate on the base the most, which is the punch, and then you'll see greater results from that. And let's say you do the punch. Okay, go do some form. Okay, go do some 20 single man techniques. Frick, I'm tired of doing this. Okay, concentrate again on the punch. But notice, I'm not saying, okay, you can only do the punch and you should only do the punch. Yes, eventually you'll come to understand that by mastering the punch and getting the simplest of the technique down on that basis, everything else falls into place. So, in part 3, I wanted to really discuss that's the route to get to so you can actually release a technique. If you can't maintain that target, you remember, why can't you maintain the targeting? Is because you can't release the technique. Just because you're holding the technique here doesn't mean you're aimed. Just because you have two hands aimed here doesn't mean you're aimed, right? Both hands have to be releasing the technique. If the force hits this hand, guess what? It rotates, right? It rotates different directions. And basically from there, you can rotate and still maintain the target all in its entirety. And that's both hands constantly doing that rotation and maintaining the triangle every single time, right? But if your hand technique is like this, looks like a triangle, but the functionality is not there, because if the force comes in and you get collapsed, not a triangle. If the force comes in, you tense up, not a triangle. So basically what this video is hopefully explaining to you is the route that you need to do to make sure you have the release, which is the ultimate, the end of the road requirement, so you can maintain that triangle. Okay. Part 4 that I'm going to do next is going to talk about a little drill that'll help you, just in case all that other stuff still doesn't get to you. Okay.